What's poppin', y'all? Traplo Ross recently released a Big U documentary, and he's become a target for some people. And the most recent person he's become a target for is none other than Wayno. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Wayno, he was the last co-host of Akademiks on the Everyday Struggle show that was on Complex. It was a very, very popular and successful show initially when it was Akademiks and Joe Budden, and then briefly a 2-episode highlight with star Troy Terrain, which that was an insane 2 episodes. I think that would have been a greater show, to be honest, but that guy came in with fire. But he moved out of the way, and then they brought Wayno in. And Wayno, since then, he's done a lot of other things. He's got his own YouTube channel now. He gives his own commentary. He used to post stuff on Twitter. But he decided to go in on Traplo Ross for something that I didn't even know, and I don't even think he knew initially. So I'm going to run you guys the clip, and I think he brings up some interesting points that are worth discussion.
I'm not initially seeing him. I'm hearing him talk. And then when he pops up on the screen, right? When he pops up on the screen, he has on a Seattle Mariners hat and he has on a Chargers jersey. And immediately, first thing came to mind is like, that's a stupid ass outfit. Like, you look goofy wearing that, right? But then when I put it up on my social media, I immediately got people, talking about it because I just posted it. I'm like, yo, bro, look at this fit. And people hit me. And a few people that I know personally called me and was like, yo, he's trolling. I'm like, oh. He got on the Seattle Mariners hat, which is the hat that the 60s wear to represent themselves. And he got on the Chargers jersey, which Big U's son plays for the Chargers. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, all right, look, now you went from your journalistic integrity because he positions himself as a journalist, right? He positions himself as a journalist, as a person who digs and gets the information and reports the information. And that's great. But why are you wearing that? What that showed me was a level of not just trolling, but a level of just playing with forces that you can't understand. Now, you can't tell nobody that they can't wear a Seattle Mariners hat. Like, who can't wear a Seattle Mariners hat? Who can't wear a Chargers jersey? But that's not the case when you're a fan. The reason why he's wearing this is because you antagonizing the situation or you think it's cute that you put that together, but you're really stupid for doing that. And the reason why I think that's extremely dumb and careless, especially on a man's part, this is not no little kid. For one, you're not beefing with nobody in the 60s, brother. You're not beefing with nobody in the 60s. And let me not sit here and talk about the 60s or gangs like it's just this glorious ride that everybody loves and everybody appreciates. Gangs, man. Gangs oppress their own communities. Yeah, I said it. It's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the victims of any sort of gang violence, for the most part, it's always towards one another. Even if it's a rival, it's black and black, brown and brown, brown and black. You know what I'm saying? It's all people in poverty. It's all in poverty, where poverty is our real op. But anyway, seeing this, it let me know that you don't care too much about what it is you're doing from a journalistic standpoint. You trying to be seen.
It looks like me and Wayno both got put onto 2 different things. Number one, I don't even know what Seattle Mariners are. I don't even know if that's a football team. I don't know if that's a baseball team. I'm actually looking it up as we speak. Yes, it is a baseball team. So for me, yeah, I would wonder the same thing. It's like, wait, hold on, what's this outfit? And usually Traplo Ross uses outfits as a theme. For instance, like he dressed up as 6ix9ine. And me personally, the way I look at most of his dress ups, keep in mind, the majority of Traplo Ross content that I had watched was like prior to when he started doing really, really, really long documentaries. And a lot of his style back then was more humorous. For example, like the Frank Ocean situation, that's how I discovered Traplo Ross back in 2018. I was like, man, this guy's hilarious. He has that British humor. He interjects it in his scripts. The scripts are still well researched, but he adds his own touch to it. And I really enjoyed that. But, once the documentaries got very long and they were about like kind of gang topics, it's just, number one, I don't really have the time to watch something like that. But I also I'm not really too interested in the gang stuff, to be honest, unless it relates directly to hip hop. Like, for example, this No Jumper thing, I'm very interested in that. for sure. So I probably will check out that Big U one, but that just gives my perspective. And then this transition happened to where Traplo Ross, he began calling himself a journalist. For example, there's a clip, I'll see if I can get it, where he responds to this hater. I posted it in a previous video before, a hater that used to work with Sony that didn't like the way he portrayed Central C in his video, saying Central C is cap, he's not really a gangster, etc. He just took on the life of like his homies. And then Traplo Ross in his response referred to himself as a journalist and said, yes, I'm the greatest UK hip-hop journalist. And this journalist term is interesting because I don't know why people like to claim the term when there is no benefit and only downside. Like, well, when I make a decision, I look into where am I going to get an asymmetrical return. Like, for example, where is there minimal downside and maximize upside? With a journalist, it's really maximum downside and minimal upside, because you calling yourself a journalist or being referred to as one, it's not necessarily going to get you paid anymore. It's not even really going to get you respected much more, but it does put all of these limitations and openings for people to criticize you and try to tear you down. Because Akademiks, who also started to refer to himself as a journalist prior to Traplo Ross, he's actually doing journalistic stuff, but people just use it to like down him, and people say, well, he's not a journalist. Well, the truth is, Akademiks is a journalist. He's getting primary sources. He's putting out information before people know about it. For example, there was a case where Drake had he was going to release something and Akademiks put it out before, and then Drake reached out to him and said, how did you know? So circling back to this outfit. Now, if you are claiming to be a journalist, professionalism is at the top of journalism. Like, you really can't necessarily say that journalists are funny or comedic or poking fun at the situation. So with this outfit, it kind of brings me back to old Traplo Ross, where he would make fun of a situation, not a situation like this, but a lighthearted situation, more like a business deal or something like that. So I'm actually surprised by this. And this is also something that you cannot pretend you didn't know what you were doing, because it's so specific. And I'm just wondering what the purpose behind it is. I get where Wayno is coming from here. I'm not going to go in on Traplo Ross like Wayno did, because I'm just more curious as to why, like, the intention behind it. Maybe it was like considered to be an Easter egg. Maybe it wasn't malicious, but it does seem to be malicious, if not to Big U at the very least. And if Big U has got a lot of people that got love for him, then they're not going to be too happy about it too. About like, oh, this guy's, you're playing with people you don't necessarily want to play with, especially if, you know, you try to go back to LA and spend time in LA and, you know, you're recognizable as someone that covers a lot of this stuff. This is also something we never really saw Akademiks do. Like, no matter what people say about Akademiks, sure, there was war in Chirac and all of that, but Akademiks was never really like rocking apparel that mocked anybody in certain situations. Now, granted, Big U allegedly is a killer and somebody that's extorting people. I don't know what his son has to do with this situation. That's the thing too. Like, his son seems to be just a guy that plays football, successful football player, and tries to stay out of the BS as much as possible. He hasn't really spoken on anything. He's kept his lips tight and sealed. But Wayno goes in and gives broader detail about his opinion. Keep in mind, this is Wayno prefacing going on this tangent or rant. He said that he likes Traplo Ross's work and he appreciates his work and thinks he does very, very good research and compilation and storytelling and narrative. But then he goes into the outsider / foreigner and like white person.
Now, let's keep it 1,000. This dude is from overseas. He's not from America at all. And I'm not even going to talk about what the dudes in UK go through, because they got their own gangs and their own politics and their own situations that they deal with in their hoods. But when people report about them, if they do or any, pretty sure they're not antagonizing the situation or thinking that they being funny by wearing the gang's colors. So I wanted to paint a picture, right? Let's say you're watching the news, right? You're watching the news and a reporter is telling a story, giving you the play-by-play, walk-by-walk, every single situation, nook and cranny, how they used to say back in the day, all of that. And when they show the reporter, they got a flag on, and they got the gang's flag or the gang's rival flag on or something like that, or they got a piece of merchandise that represents a certain thing. Now, this is the thing. White people love to play victim like they didn't know, because that's going to be an easy sell. Oh, man, I wasn't doing, I didn't do that. I just thought it was cool to wear together. Come on, bro. Come on. My problem that I have with the whole entire situation is this: representation. Now, representation is something that people who are from outside of these communities get a chance to play with every chance they get. You get a chance to throw that hat on and wear it because you're wearing it for a reason. The reason you're wearing it for is for the shock value of the situation. But keep in mind that a lot of people who have lost their life, the last thing they might have seen was a Seattle hat. The last thing they might have seen was the Seattle hat. Or they might have met their end because they had that Seattle hat on at the wrong place in the wrong time. But you get to play double dutch. You get to jump in, jump out. You get to jump in, make your dimes, make your money, and jump out. Know what I mean? When it's convenient. The only reason why I feel this way regarding this situation is because of what he's wearing.
So there you hear it. I think Wayno's a very fair person. This is probably why Everyday Struggle didn't work out very well when he was on it. Is because Wayno takes into consideration a lot of different perspectives. He holds his own beliefs, but he's able to see other points of view, and he's able to be relatively objective, unemotional, and honest about certain things based on his belief system. And that doesn't really work when you needed someone like going back and forth with Akademiks. So I think that's why the show like lost that drama and spark that was in the initial duo of Akademiks and Joe Budden. I don't even think it would do well now because Akademiks and Joe Budden kind of see each other as peers and have a lot of respect for each other, and you kind of needed that disdain from Joe towards Akademiks for it to ever work again. So it would probably be Akademiks being the role of Joe Budden, and then maybe like a Flacco or something where he can bully him. Not necessarily bully, but you guys get what I mean. It has to have that type of dynamic for a show like that. With Wayno's points, there's no way that Trap Ross is going to say like, oh, I had no idea what I was wearing. Like, come on. That's just outrageous. Number one, nobody from the UK is wearing football jerseys, NFL jerseys. Now we're going to have the one guy in the comment section like, bro, I wear NFL jerseys and I'm from Liverpool. All right, man. Yeah, you're the only guy. Congratulations. It's not nobody. Listen, we're broadly generalizing, all right? They're not. The only football jerseys they're wearing is freaking, I was about to say Canarsie. Is Chelsea or whatever other actual football team that is playing in the UK. So that's not the case. And I think I genuinely, if I were to guess Trap Ross's intentions, I don't think it was malice. I think he put it in there as an Easter egg for the people that are really like fans of him and are like, yo, why the hell is he wearing that? Oh no, he's wearing that because it signifies this and this. And I don't think he thought it would get out of hand like this and be interpreted disrespectfully. But I think if you think about it for 2 moments, you would say, I don't know if that's the greatest idea. And the foreigner aspect, I can kind of understand Wayno's point, but I think Trap Ross has been doing this for so long that he actually empathizes with a lot of these situations, not to be confused with sympathizes. I think he genuinely understands how these things happen. He's listened to a lot of the music. He has written about a lot of these stories, researched a lot of them. Now, that's far, far, far different from having experienced it or even known direct friends that you grew up with experience it, which is something that is solely an American experience. Now, of course, like UK has their own thing going on, but we're specifically talking about the US at this point. So that's a distinction that will always be made. But the way that I look at it is this will probably just blow over. And this is something that he shouldn't have done, just tactically, not even from a respect point or disrespect point, because this is a very, very serious case. Granted, maybe he feels like because he's making fun of Big U and Big U is the perpetrator and the one allegedly terrorizing everybody, that it's fine. But then like the way I would look at it is like, man, like let his brother, like, or not his brother, his son, like leave his son out of it at least. But hey, and this is the thing too, it's not just Big U, because the hat represents like this whole gang who, independent of whatever Big U does on his own dime, they're looking at it like, yo, we're representing this bigger thing. And regardless of whether you're taking shots at Big U with that or, you know, throwing it as an Easter egg, we don't interpret it that way. And that's where you run into problems, and why I think it's so important to see how other people perceive things. Because a lot of people, especially outside of California and LA, we look at it as ridiculous. Like, hold on, you can't wear like 28 different hats? Like this place sucks. And this is goofy and stupid and dumb. And yes, it is dumb and stupid, especially like people just getting ran up on for wearing something that's apparel that's sold all across America and other places in the world too. However, it doesn't matter if it's dumb, because enough people that are also violent believe in that being a code. So they are a threat to you, whether you think it's dumb or not. So even if it's dumb, you should follow along if you want to be safe, right? Now, if you want to challenge the fact that it's dumb and put yourself in danger, that's another story. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.